everybody going? Yes, I'm driving, so I'm not going to pay attention to the screen too much. I'm just going to talk a little bit today. On my way to Oregon, I'm about 5 hours away. I thought I'd be closer to the McDonald's I used to usually stop at for a little pie and a little ice cream. And I figured I'd do the live stream there, but unfortunately I got a late start. Hello, Karen, Theo, Larry. I know Pete and Lisa are somewhere in the house too. Welcome everybody. Lots of things to get to today. One of the things that we really need to talk about is we need to talk about used RV loans, because there's a lot of different things that happened. I talked about it a little bit on the podcast, but got some confirmation today from some folks I know on the lending side of the RV business. So if you're a private party seller or a private party buyer or even a dealership buyer of a used RV, the entire lending process is going to change. So I'm sorry about the shaking. We're on a bumpy road. But the lending thing is going to change because it looks like banks are expecting another immediate drop of used RV values coming up in June 1st. So June 1st is the next release of the next JD Power bookout sheet. And so we're already seeing a big tank that happened in March. So June 1st, they're expecting and anticipating a large drop again, another 15 to 18% drop in value of RVs. So what they're preparing and situating themselves with is officially on May 1st, you're going to see a lot of lenders, from credit unions to banks to private equity firms that, sell off loans. They're going to tighten up how much they're going to lend on an RV. Okay? So it's not that they're not going to give out the loans. They're going to tighten up how much they're going to actually give a loan for. Now, this is pretty difficult news for folks that are going through this whole Grand Design situation, because with all the allegations against Grand Design about the frame failure, the frame flex, with all the customer hell that Grand Design is allegedly putting people through, it's going to devalue it even worse. Because now, let's say you're a private party seller and you owe $60,000 on a Solitude, probably by May 1st, you're going to see a significant reduction in what the lender's going to give. So it doesn't help your case if you want to sell it. If you bought anything during COVID, you bought a fifth wheel during COVID, you bought a travel trailer during COVID, and you're looking to privately sell it, you're going to have a rough time doing it. Oh yeah, and it does suck for dealers. Trust me, it sucks for dealers. It sucks for me. I just sold a travel trailer that Sundance that I was staying in, that you guys have seen me do this live stream, and whoops, bumpy road, this live stream and the podcast from. I sold it for a $3,000 loss today because of the book value change. And actually, I've already listed every single unit that I've got that I took in on trade. I've now downgraded and lessened the price dramatically online on my used inventory. But here's the interesting part, okay? Here's the interesting part. Here's what and this is what I said. I'm heading to Oregon to go see my kids. My kids are having their 13th birthday tomorrow. So I'm heading up to Oregon from southern Nevada. So I'm actually just hit the California border near Susanville on the backside of the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains. What's interesting, guys, and if you're listening to this later, you could go back to previous videos I did where I kept saying that it's not a crash, It's a correction, okay? It is legit. The problem that we're running into, though, is my prediction was way off. My prediction was that it was going to be a steady decline, not a significant drop like it's been. I mean, it is an absolute, like, nuclear bomb. So instead of it happening over a 6-month period, this is going to happen like a year-long period. It just went and just killed it. Yeah, it's light out here. It's on the West Coast. Remember, I'm in Nevada. It's Samia. Don't block. It's the West Coast. Of course, it's still light out here. Anyway, so this is the correction, but it's just happening faster than what I predicted. You know, and this was eventually going to happen because the pressure on the market is significant, because dealerships across the United States and Canada have significantly dropped their prices over the last 5-6 months, and it just finally caught up where it's putting so much pressure on the used market. So really have to look at that. So if you're looking, the best thing you could possibly do, whether you're watching now, watching later, the best thing you could possibly do if you want to get out of your rig into something new is trade it in. At this point, they have not. It's not going to affect new. No, I don't know Russian. It's not going to affect the new RV financing. It's only affecting used. So your best bet at this point is, if you own it free and clear, you could probably get some money out of it, sell it on your own. If you have a loan on it, you need to trade it in. Don't try to sell it privately unless you're in a major equity position, because you're just not going to get the money out of it. No, there's not a lack of sales necessarily. It seems like it's a normal market. Used RV sales are up. New RV sales are down, but used is doing well. I sell half the stuff I sell a month is used, okay? But now we have to kind of look at where it's all going. No, I don't know Islam. The other thing I really need to cover is, and this is for anybody, there's a history lesson I need to just kind of go over for a minute, okay? And my apologies to anybody that is offended by this, if you're a Brinkley RV owner. But I caused such a stir the other day because I released an episode on the podcast from information I gathered over a 4-month period through sources of mine, and it kind of came to a head. And I want to get some history on why that statement I made, quality used can carry a dealer. That's very true. So here's what happened. Keystone RV was initiated. That's a members only jacket. No, but I love this jacket, by the way. It's my favorite leather jacket that I own. So Keystone RV was initiated in 1996. Okay. It sold officially to Thor Industries in 2001, but that sale was initiated in the year 2000. So about 4 years, a little less than 4 years after inception, the company sold to Thor Industries. Okay. Jayco was a sole independent manufacturer for 37 years before they sold to Thor. Heartland RV was, I think, a 12-year company before it sold to Thor. Forest River was a 30-year company before it sold to Berkshire Hathaway. But Keystone RV sold to Thor Industries began the sale after less than 4 years. Okay. Grand Design RV started in 2012 and completed the sale to Winnebago 4 years later in 2016. So they were in business for less than 3 years before they started initiating their selling process to a major manufacturer. What's the common denominator? Well, there's people that were involved with Keystone that started Grand Design and now are with Brinkley, right? So Brinkley, why is it so far-fetched that Brinkley would not do the same thing? Why is it so far-fetched that there was major damage control where I lost a few of my sources? At least temporarily. They'll come back. But see what I mean? So I leave it to the consumer and the audience and the RV community to make your own determinations. Because I said this on the podcast last night. If you want to know what somebody is more than likely going to do in the future, you have to look at the past. Okay, there we go. Woo! Anyway, look at Camping World. Camping World right now, Camping World at this moment is still trying to buy out RV dealerships, right? So what has been their MO? Their MO in the past, whether it was Gander, Good Sam, all that stuff, their initiations, they want to be and continue to grow to be the largest retailer of RVs in the world. And they are succeeding. Okay? So the reality is you have to look at, if you look at companies, executives, and their past, you obviously can connect the dots. So I'm of the understanding that a few people unsubscribed from the main channel and the podcast due to that deleted podcast episode, because I didn't want to skip out on a Saturday on you guys. Oh, I know, Blair. Trust me, I know. It says it. My internet box just isn't working right now. I think it's because the cell network up in this area has been bad because they had some strong 75, 80-mile winds up here. Anyway, so the bottom line is the industry as a total needs to just realize that it's a small industry and we don't need to lie to customers. I have no skin in the game to lie to anybody, because the majority of people that watch these videos, watch these lives, are never going to buy from me, because either you live in another state way far away from me, or maybe you're a private party buyer. Maybe you like buying used private party, right? So here's the bottom line about this. The RV manufacturers that I've been quoting lately need to understand that they have to come out. At some point, they have to come out and say, look, we screwed up. I know most people would. I know most people, if they lived in Nevada or California or anywhere near me, they come and buy from me. I've had subscribers come and buy, especially the last 2 months. But again, one of those situations where the manufacturers need to handle things better. Now, I am mad at Forest River. I sell Forest River R-Pod and Forest River Ibex, and I'm really pissed off at those guys right now. And the reason why I'm mad at them is because usually somebody will call me from a lot of other divisions, like Rockwood Flagstaff. Those guys will call me and tell me about a recall. Like, hey, we're recalling fire extinguishers. Or, hey, you know, they'll put a bulletin out or send me an email or something. So how about this? In January of this year, Ibex and RPod recalled the beast mode package on some of the units, the independent suspension. And that just pisses me off because I told the guys when they said they were going to do it on No Boundaries, which No Boundaries, Ibex, and RPod are all interconnected on this. They're built by the same division in the same factories. It about sent me nuclear when I found out, because I had to find out from Crappy RV. I didn't find out from, you know, anybody interconnected at Forest River. I had to find out from a fellow YouTuber about this, a fellow RV video maker. And I'm like, are you shitting me? Are you kidding me? Why not call me and say, hey, by the way, just to let you know, we're having a recall on the beast mode package on the independent Kurt suspension because it may not have been assembled properly at the plant. Oh, okay. That would have been nice to know so I can, like, tell people about it, because I could start telling people about that in January instead of now we're in April. It's absolutely, like, just asinine. And I sell RPods. I like RPods. Now, I don't like the beast mode package. I don't like independent suspension on small travel trailers because it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time, because most folks that buy those little teardrop travel trailer types do not go super off-roading. They don't even travel that much. It's not like a big heavy fifth wheel. It's not like, you know, a toy hauler. We're talking about little trailers that are under 3,000, 4,000 pounds. You know, so that's the crazy part. Yeah, fix. By the way, thanks for sticking around, guys. I know it's been an absolute pain in the butt, this live stream, but that's kind of the what's just so irritating is, don't be scared to share bad news with me. If you got bad news, if you're watching this and you know who I'm talking to, if you're watching this, you could have told me, you dummy. You could have called me. You have my cell phone number. You could have called me and said, hey, dude, guess what? We're having problems with the independent suspension. No, they don't want to tell me that, because guess what? The first thing I'm going to tell them, I told you so, right? Like, I told you, you MFer, you know? I told you it was a bad idea. But no, they don't want to be told they told you so. Oh, yeah, yeah, I mean, there's little recalls and everything that need to be thing, but it's like, it'd be nice to have a phone call. The other thing, very interesting, is they're going to handle it. I'm not worried about how Forest River will handle the situation, because I know Forest River, Keystone, Jayco, they will do the right things. They'll handle the customer properly. Northwood Manufacturing, same thing. Genesis Supreme, same thing. I'm not worried about those guys in that respect. What I'm worried about is, you know, when I tell you something, hey man, don't be you're going to take your licks, because I know that the next time I get on a call with my RPod and my Ibex rep, I'm gonna be like, hey, I told you so. You guys could have told me back in January. Jesus criminy. Okay, so here's another really interesting thing for you guys, okay? And something that I think is very important that everybody knows is, I believe we're going to get to a point in the next month and a half where campgrounds across the United States are going to be absolutely packed. I have an acquaintance of mine that works really close with Thousand Trails and KOA. He works with them. He doesn't work for them. He works with them in a kind of a contractor, independent contractor type of thing, okay? And he's already saying that a lot of the KOAs, a lot of the Thousand Trails parks, a lot of campgrounds in general that he works with are packed. We're talking about that if you, let's say you bought an RV this year and somebody promised you free camping at a resort for 3 days, 2 nights, you know, those little timeshare setup type of things, that they may not be able to even squeeze those people in. I believe what's going on is folks are realizing that even with the rising gas prices, let me step back a second. So my kids and my wife are going to Mexico in the summer. We booked our tickets now 4 months in advance, and it's almost triple the price of what it was 3 years ago. Okay? Triple the price of what it was 3 years ago. So I started looking at flights for myself because I was planning on going to Hershey. I was actually planning on going to Hershey, Pennsylvania for the Hershey show, take the podcast, take the regular channel on the road, and do a really cool little thing at the Hershey show. And so that's in September. So I started looking up flights from Nevada to Pennsylvania, and round trip, this is without rental car, this is without hotel, just a round trip plane ticket on a cheap airline where I'm only going to take a carry-on bag, was like almost $1,000 for just me. So I think people in general are starting to see the value in doing RV type of vacation this summer, because of the rising gas prices are causing a lot of these airlines to massively increase their prices. And I've seen two things. I've seen now cruises and RV campgrounds starting to get booked really quick. A buddy of mine that I worked with, him and his wife usually take a June cruise. They just tried to book their normal June cruise they do. They can't do it. All of them are sold out. All the normal ones they do are all completely sold out. And the one available one for the week they usually do it is like astronomically expensive. So I believe we're at an impasse now where if you haven't booked your campgrounds, you better start doing it now. Even if you're doing it Labor Day, even if you're doing it in August, even if you're doing it Thanksgiving weekend, you guys need to book your campsites. You need to plan this out 6 months, 8 months in advance, because it is getting jammed out there. You know, if you live on the West Coast, okay, you're watching this later, you're watching this now, you're seeing a lot of states starting to do reservation systems for dry camping spaces, specifically California, Washington State, Oregon. If there is, whether it's tent camping or RV camping, you almost anymore need to make a reservation, even if there isn't any hookups. So we just keep that in mind as you're going along with everything, because this has literally been a very busy year. There you go. So make sure you get everything lined up how you want. Get your trips planned out. I know sometimes we take just booked a 2-week trip last weekend. That's good. No, that's good, Patty. But a lot of the country is experiencing this. So, you know, just be aware of it. And I'm more talking about the summer. Okay. Yeah, there you go, Daryl. There you go. That's very true. The other things that kind of need to be tightened up a little bit is there are rumors out there that I've heard from now multiple people that Alliance RV is up for sale. According to the guys I know in the industry on the backside, they aren't my sources. They're just kind of like guys I talk to off and on. They're going to get me in touch and let Coley Brady know I want to talk to him. But as far as they know, no one's made an official offer or even looking at buying Alliance right now, or any of the independents except for one, and we don't need to name that. You guys can already guess who that is. But as far as Thor Industries is concerned, or Forest River, they're not looking to buy Alliance at this time. That doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. That isn't possible, because I know the guys that own it, and when they were with Heartland, they weren't planning on selling Heartland, but if somebody came in and made them a stupid offer of, let's say, $1 billion, it's kind of hard to walk away from $1 billion, with an RV company. Like, you mean I can walk away with you're not gonna walk away with $1 billion because there's taxes and all that stuff, but if someone made $1 billion offer on an RV company, it'd be pretty hard for them to walk away from that. It'd be hard for me to walk away from that. So no, weight distribution hitches do not damage travel trailers unless you're putting too much bar or too much pressure. The weight distribution hitch has to be measured out to the level of the truck. That's why I always recommend to have a technician who's done it like 100 times to do it for you, not do it on your own. A lot of times what happens is guys will think they're mechanically inclined and can, their ego says, I'm not going to pay $100 to a guy to assemble a hitch for me. I have the tools, I can deal with it. And they never set one up in their life. And, well, they put the brackets in the wrong spot. And voila. Or they put too big of a hitch. See, you could put too big of a weight distribution hitch on. So what you want, let's say it's a small little teardrop travel trailer. Let's say it's an R-Pod or a Coachman Clipper or a Jayco little Baja J-Flight. If you're going to do a weight distribution hitch, it's got to be a 6,000 pound rated hitch or less. Okay, you don't want to take and get a 10 or 12,000 pound hitch and put it on a 4,000 pound trailer. That's overkill and that's too heavy. Okay. You really, with a weight distribution hitch, you want to match it up to the actual weight of the trailer. Well, I'd have to know more about it. I have to look into that more. But it in general, it doesn't do that. To sell weight distribution hitch, I mean, you can sell it on your own. Weight distribution hitches could be sold on your own. I mean, dealers can't resell them used. So, Theo, I really got to look at what the reason why that happened, because the general rule of thumb is that a weight distribution / sway control hitch is nothing but beneficial for both the trailer and the truck. Because realistically, it helps prevent the fishtailing, and it distributes the tongue weight evenly from the rear axle of the truck to the rear axle of the trailer. So now there's other things that can be involved. I don't really know what the whole situation is. I'll see if I can look it up. I'll get you an answer next week when I get back. Yeah, the dealer won't want, guys, dealers will not take used weight distribution hitches because there's too much liability. There's way too much liability in reselling them or even giving them away. So they would just scrap them. It was an Airstream. Yeah, I'd have to look into it. I'll look into it. I'll look at Airstream weight distribution hitch broken, and I'll see what I can find. It's just like fifth wheel hitches. Fifth wheel hitches, everybody says a gooseneck's really good for fifth wheel hitch. Not according to every frame manufacturer I've talked to. Every frame company that's not named Lippert, because I can't ever talk to anybody at Lippert because they're a big corporation, but those independent frame companies, that deal with fifth wheel and travel trailer frames, they've all told me that gooseneck is not the best way to do it. That's why whenever somebody does a gooseneck adapter on the pin box and puts it to the ball of the truck, it voids the warranty. Okay, so weight distribution is the whole complete opposite. It's supposed to be like beneficial to do it. I don't know. I haven't had any experience with it yet. The only I've been using the Companion and the Patriot hitch with B&W. Those are really easy to set up, and they're my favorites because at the end of the day, they're easy to install, especially if you have the puck system, and they're high quality and lightweight. All right, thanks, Theo. Appreciate you. Thanks, Larry. It's my twin girls. I'll be doing some videos and stuff. Last thing for the evening, guys, okay? And then I gotta get too for me to do this. Is just be aware that the percentages of Armageddon level problems on RVs is less than what a lot of the, I'm going to call them the nuclear YouTubers, make it out to be. Like, look, Liz Amazing is a necessity in our industry and a necessity for the community because, well, she's a little more aggressive finding the people with the real problems. What most people don't realize is when you reach 100,000, 115,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, if you're posting, let's say, 10 videos a month, you're usually getting between 3 and 7 million views. 3 to 7 million views usually pays you between 20 and 30 grand a month in ad revenue. I mean, you're talking about someone at Liz Amazing's level should be, especially because she's technically an education channel, she should be making somewhere in that range, 240 to 360 grand a year from ad revenue, okay? So, but she's a good use. I'm not bagging on her, I'm not talking crap about her, but the way she makes things out to be is not how things really, really are. She tries to scare everybody because, let's face it, there's an old saying that says sex sells, okay? And, you know, she uses the same strategy a lot of media companies do. Negative stuff sells, okay? Negative crap sells. So, you know, it's real easy at her level to make a good amount of money, and and I'm gonna be very frank, she deserves it. As you guys all know, I am a capitalist, okay? I will never ever knock anybody for making money unless they're making money by nefarious means or they're doing something stupid. In some cases, corporate RV dealership YouTubers. And you can take a guess who I'm talking about. There's several of them out there. They just went from Mr. or Mrs. Transparency to Mr. and Mrs. Pro Corporation and Pro Factory. And that's to be expected because contractual obligations. While people like Liz are an independent, but again, you got to make a living. And fear-mongering sometimes helps make money. But she is a necessity, and I know she watches me, so I know darn well she's going to watch this, okay? And I hope she understands I'm never talking crap about her because I may not agree with her style and agree with what she does, and I don't like her. The reality is the outside of what's predominantly being alleged with Grand Design, the rest of the industry is in good shape as far as they're not the Armageddon level problems. And the last thing I really want to say, is Crappy RV. I like that guy. I really do. I like the guy Crappy RV. My only issue with Mr. Crappy RV, okay, is he says comments about older units. Like he made a comment the other day, and the comment was, and I don't know if it was the other day, his video was released the other day. I got it on Facebook Reels, and it said, he said, oh, he pointed at this other dealership or this other older 80s travel trailer and says, that trailer probably has more original parts than my Paradigm. That's not true, because I've sold and worked on 1980s, 1970s, 1990s travel trailers and RVs, and most of the ones I've had to work on do not have original parts. They have a lot of replacement parts, as many or more than the newer units. RVs in general have been the same identical quality as far as level of quality for 60 years. Okay, the cabinets might have changed, but the overall build quality of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, if anything, a lot of things have gotten better and a lot of things have gotten worse. But they all stand for toolkit and sense of humor. Every one of them, no matter if they have the best of the best independent suspension, the best pin boxes, the best tires, the best tow vehicle, you're towing a house on wheels. You're not towing an agriculture trailer that's all steel framed and, you know, built to carry, you know, horses and cows. You're buying a RV that has slide outs and has leveling systems and appliances. It's not if something goes wrong, it's when something goes wrong. And it doesn't matter what year, and it doesn't matter what make, and it doesn't matter what model. Have a toolkit, laugh it off, it's a toy. And like me, I've got a Keystone Cougar 2019. I got a gray tank that cracked because it froze because my tank heaters went out. Okay. I've replaced the microwave. I now have to fix the tank heaters and the tank. My refrigerator decided to ice over. So we had to defrost it, and I have to go change the circuit board because it's a circuit board problem. This is a 5-year-old unit, okay? And it's expected. Do I have to replace cabinets? No. Do I have to replace floors? No. Do I have to replace the bathtub and shower, which I feel real bad about with Crappy RV because I think that's real garbage that you had to do that. But not every old unit is better quality. A lot of times they're water damaged, they're older, they're falling apart, they're delaminated, they're garbage. No toy is going to last forever. I don't care if it's an Airstream, I don't care if it's a Winnebago motorhome, I don't care if it's a Coleman little cheapy travel trailer. Nothing is going to last forever, even if you take care of it. There's an expiration date. That's why it's called a toy. Boats, same thing. Cars, same thing. Nothing lasts forever. They can be rebuilt. They can be reimagined. They can be lots of things. But the one thing they can't be is immortal. Okay? Oh, I always have issues with my Cougar. It's fine. You know. Thank you guys. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to go enjoy my kid's 13th birthday. I'm 4 hours and 30 minutes away. Until next time, folks, have a great weekend. Enjoy camping.